we're going to start it up with the music because that's what we do. All right. We got our podcast jam going on here. It's the CommsClubCast episode. I have no idea what episode this is. Doesn't really matter because I'm making new friends and we're talking about stuff here at Revis High School. And I'm lucky to have one of my new friends here. This is Jessica Robitz. Jessica Robitz, welcome to the show. How are you today?
I'm good. How are you?
I am doing okay. I think I'm doing okay. So I'm happy to have you here. And today we're going to be talking about bowling, right? We're going to be talking about being a senior class officer. We're going to be talking about your greatest fears and challenges. I don't know. We're going to talk about stuff. We're going to get through this and it's going to be a good time. And I get to learn new things about people that I may not have ever met if I wasn't doing this. So you are a senior, is that correct? And you are senior class officer?
Yes, that's correct.
What is your position as the senior class officer?
So my title is senior class financial officer. And really all that means is I keep track of the money and I sign off on anything that the senior class buys.
So what kind of stuff do they buy?
Well, just recently we bought the senior class favors for senior breakfast, which is on Tuesday. So we spent a pretty big dollar amount on that.
You're the financial officer? That sounds very much serious.
It sounded really intimidating when I first was putting in for this role. And then I was after I got elected, I was like, oh, this really isn't that bad.
Okay, so what would you say you need to be somebody that's good with finance and math? Is that kind of your jam? Just
kind of being reasonable with money, I would say. When we were looking at the senior class favors, we're okay, we can't spend more than this amount because that's really outrageous.
We don't want to say what the favor is.
No,
right?
I don't want to spoil it. It is a secret. It is a secret for people who are not in the cabinet.
I see. So when they get there and they have this thing, you're like, there it is. We got you this thing. You spend money on that, on the favor for the event. What other events do you have during the year for senior class that you have to be financially responsible for? So
the other biggest one was homecoming. So we planned the homecoming dance. So we spent another pretty big dollar amount on just photo ops for the back of the dance, lights. And this year was really chaotic with the dance getting moved into the gym. And then also the float. We have a senior class float and we spend a money amount on that.
Okay. So what do you mean moving into the gym? Where was it before?
So normally it was going to be on the football field. And it was that day the weather was crazy. So in the middle of the football game, they're like, oh, dance is moved inside. We're like, great. So we had to move all of our stuff inside. That way we didn't get rained on.
So that was always the thing when they're planning the dance and they want to have it outside. It's great if the weather's good, right? It's oh, this is amazing and we're outside. And then they kind of plan B is if the weather is not permitting, we're going to move this inside. But the hope is always we're not moving it inside because when you actually have to do that, it turns into a bit of a nightmare for the people that are, you guys are coordinating that dance and basically running that dance.
Yeah, I do give a lot of thank you to the maintenance department for moving that inside and it was really nice, but I liked it on the football field my past 3 years, but still in the gym, I really do give a huge thank you to the maintenance department.
Thinking on their feet and being there and making that happen. That's not a small thing to just kind of pivot and have to change the entire dance. So you are on the bowling team, you are on the softball team, you are, what else do you have going on? Sounds like you're pretty busy.
Yeah, I am pretty busy. I'm in National Honor Society and then Blue Crew and then the student union committee team.
That's a lot of stuff. It's good to be involved though. I mean, would you say that is a big reason why, I would assume you're enjoying being involved. You wouldn't continue to get involved in more and more stuff if you were, stressed out about it. Or so. What do you think the importance of that is to kind of get involved in things like this and make your high school years memorable?
Yeah, I definitely just have met so many different people that I never thought that I would meet, and then I think it also helps with my skills with communicating and just organizing. Yeah, especially with senior class, with homecoming, you don't realize how much planning goes into homecoming until you're the one planning homecoming. And it's oh, wow, I didn't think about this and that.
Mm-hmm, sure. You should try having a podcast. That's another way to meet new friends and people that you would have never
I'll think
met
about
before.
it.
Yeah, well, maybe you could just, you could take my seat and I'll just,
we'll just switch.
I don't know. We're going to have to figure out a way to pass on the torch. I don't know how many more years
Oh, no.
Well, I got a few more years. We're okay. We'll be doing this for a little while. So the senior breakfast is a pretty unique thing here at Revis. So tell us a little bit about that. A lot of, obviously the seniors know about this and people in the school know about this, but I don't know if people outside the school community really know what the senior breakfast is all about.
Yeah, so this is something that I've been looking forward to since my freshman year. It's basically just a day. It's most likely the day before we have Thanksgiving break. And you go to Navy Pier and you're on a boat and you have breakfast and you dance and you have fun and you take pictures. That's basically senior breakfast.
And you eat waffles.
Yes.
Or pancakes. I don't know. There's all kinds of breakfast. I've been
don't know
one
what kind
time.
of food is there. You went?
Oh, it's breakfast food. I hope I didn't just ruin that surprise. I might have to edit this out. Yeah, it's an amazing breakfast spread that you get to eat before you dance and have fun.
Yeah, it's like a buffet style. I do know that.
So you're looking forward to that. I've been one time. I was invited one time and I wasn't invited back. I don't know if it was because I danced poorly or I didn't behave myself, but
I'll talk
someday.
to Madera. We'll get you invited back.
That sounds like a good plan. I'll even do a broadcast from the boat. Maybe we'll make that next year. I think next year's goal is we'll do a podcast on the deck of the Odyssey. What boat is it? Do you know?
I have no idea. That I do not know.
I don't either. It's a big boat.
It is a big boat.
Because you got to fit a lot of people and all the waffles.
Yeah,
and
we
stuff.
have 350 tickets sold. So there's going to be a lot of seniors there. That is something not everybody goes. So if you're a freshman, sophomore, or junior, make sure you buy your ticket right away because not everybody goes.
You mean once they sell out of tickets, that's it? Like even if you're a senior, you're like, wait, I'm a senior. Am I not entitled to go to the senior breakfast? You're like, no, I'm sorry, you were too late to the party and it got sold out.
Yep.
I did not know that. All right, so let's move on to the bowling season. So winter season is right around the corner. You guys are probably you just finished tryouts for the bowling team. Tell me a little bit about your bowling adventures throughout the years.
So I started bowling my freshman year. It was something that I didn't know that I wanted to do this. My parents actually met at a bowling alley. Like that's how they found one another, I guess. So it was almost like my calling, like, okay, like I have to do this. And my freshman year, I don't even think I broke 100 at tryouts, I'm not going to lie. And then by the end of my freshman year, I bowled like a 220 at sectionals. So I was like, ooh, like, wait, I think if this is something that I can work at, like I could be pretty good at this. And now I'm a senior.
Absolutely. So both of your parents are bowlers? Is that they met at a bowling league?
Yeah, that's my like fun fact.
That is a pretty fun fact. Yeah, I used to hang out at a bowling alley when I was a kid all the time because my dad was in a bowling league. I think my mom probably bowled too. I think that was probably just the thing to do in the 80s.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So I grew up in a bowling alley on like Tuesday nights. And at that time, it was like an 80s bowling alley was like a cloud of tobacco smoke and like some goofy arcade games. And I just shoved quarters in there. And I never really got into bowling, but I liked the video games there at the bowling alley. So you were kind of destined to be a bowler.
Yeah.
And then, so you started out freshman year, you weren't very good, and then you kept working at it. Mm-hmm. And then how is the team looking this year? What is your outlook for the bowling season? Tell me a little bit about that.
So this year, we only lost 2 seniors last year. So we have we have a lot of seniors now. But the good thing about that is everybody has like bowled for the past 4 years. So we should be pretty good. I would say like the team that we want to beat is Richards. Richards has like the defending IHSA state champion on their team, and they've qualified for state as a team, I think, for the past like 4 years. So if that's a team that like we could like match and like keep up with, then we would be in a good spot.
Wow, so Richards is like a bowling powerhouse. I was going to ask you that, and that usually lasts for a couple years because you have a couple of players that are like really, really good, and it sort of ups the level. And who knows? So have we ever been like the top team to beat in your memory?
I know my freshman year and then the year before that, we were regional champions. But other than that, I feel like in like the 80s and the 90s, our bowling team was really good. But not like recently. We've been good. Like we're like top 3 in conference, but we haven't qualified for state. I know that in a while.
Maybe this year's the year.
Maybe. I hope so.
Yeah, you got a bunch of seniors. All right. So what's your average now?
My average last season was a 168.
Okay. That sounds pretty good to me. I mean, I don't know.
I like to think it's pretty good.
Yeah, I think it's pretty good. And then how does bowling work with the team and the scoring and who bowls and what scores count? Give me a little bit about that because I have not been back to a bowling alley since the 80s. No, I have. I've been to a bowling alley.
So games are typically, they work one of 2 ways. They're either 5-on-5 or 6-on-6. So 5-on-5 is like the traditional, like more common way of doing things. It's just like on a pair of lanes, it's 5 of Revis bowlers versus like 5 of like, let's say like Oaklawn's bowlers. So it's either like that or you do 6-on-6, but split into 2 pairs. So it's really like 3-on-3 and then a 3-on-3. But 6-on-6, you drop the lowest score. So you could be looking at the pinfall and like doing the math in your head and being like, oh, wait, we're up. But then if you drop the lowest score, then the other team could be up.
You're also a math tutor, aren't you?
I am,
I think I just had to send...
Mr. Shiner.
I just had to send Mr. Shiner a text and say, "Can I borrow you for a podcast?" And
Yeah.
he said, "Absolutely." So, what does that mean? What do you do as a math tutor?
I'm in the math lab every day for homeroom, and I really just help kids who come in looking to like maybe like if they're like retaking a test, then I probably can't help them. If they're coming in for like extra help on a certain topic, then I'm there probably trying to help them.
Well, I think that's good. I mean, it's all kind of lining up now. You're counting how many pins fall down.
Yeah.
Pin count. You're also the financial officer of
Can you
the
tell what
senior
I want
club.
to do after college?
I think
high
I'm kind of figuring this out right now. The puzzle is coming together. So you could tell us, a big drum roll. What do you plan to do after high school?
I want to do finance or accounting.
Imagine that. All this talk about numbers. Yeah, no, that's great. So what you also are a member of the softball team, right?
Yes, I am.
And we're a little bit ahead of ourselves there. We got the spring. We'll talk more about bowling here, but just give me a little sneak preview of what are you guys looking forward to for softball this year?
So we did lose about 5 key players, which did hurt us a lot. But this season and last season, we've been starting doing morning workouts. So every Tuesday and Thursday morning, 6 o'clock, we see the softball team in the weight room, which I think really does. It helped us out last year. Like we saw it. We made it to the regional championship for the first time in a couple years, beating Richards. Ironic. And then I think we were above 500 that year when it came to our record. So you could see progress. Like this is something that is definitely helping us.
Absolutely. That's something that we had talked about when I had Mr. Beaver in here and we were talking about sports and like the outlook for the season. And one of the things that he had stressed is how impressed he is at how many student athletes are putting in that extra work and putting in that training and that off-season stuff because, that's the reality. If you want to compete nowadays, it's like you really have to focus. You got to lock in. You can't just flip the switch and say, I'm going to play, practice this many times, play this many games, and we're going to be good. In order to compete, I mean, people are really taking it to another level. What about bowling? Is there any off-season bowling that you do? Is it like a league or something like that people do?
You could get in a league, but with my busy schedule, it is really hard for me to get in a league. Typically, the like youth leagues are Saturdays, which I have softball tournaments on Saturdays, so it's hard for me to do. But we do a summer camp, which is like 2 days a week in June and July. So that's how I get like a majority of my bowling in. And then really after that, it's like all on you. And you just go, you bowl, just like write down your scores, work on spares and stuff like that.
All right. I got a couple of bowling questions for you, and then we'll kind of like take this in because I've never had my own bowling ball. I'm the guy that's looking for the right one, the house ball that if my fingers fit in it and it doesn't weigh 83 pounds, right? So I'm kind of trying to do that. How much of a difference would that make? How much would that change my score if I bowled with my own bowling ball or a house ball?
It would definitely change your score. Like I would say about maybe 50 pins. If you like know what you're doing.
50 pins?
Probably, I would say maybe 40.
Yeah, for me, maybe 20. But even that would be like a pretty significant difference. So, and then here's the other thing. I get my own ball. How do you know if you're supposed to be the person that like hooks the thing all the way to the gut, like it almost goes in the gutter and it like whap and it comes in and you hit the pocket, or the straight ball? Like, is there a better method or is it different for every person? How does that work?
So for boys, I would say like I do see it is more common to see two-handers. They basically hold their ball with like just 2 fingers and then they throw a hook and it goes like way right and then it comes back and hooks. That is how you want to throw a ball. Like you want it to hook. Because if you throw a straight ball straight at the head pin, you will get a split. Like that's just how it is. Like you need a hit pocket and you need to have like a hook to get deep enough in pocket.
Okay. Right. How much is a bowling ball nowadays?
I want to say like $300. I might be wrong with that.
$300?
Maybe $250. Yeah. If you want like a high end ball, they're probably close to like $300.
Can I get it like clear with like a rose inside of it?
I have seen like clear balls. Like I think somebody's spare ball had like a brain in it. They're really unique now. Mine's pretty plain.
So what kind of a ball do you use?
So I have 2 balls that I use for like my strike shot, and then I have a spare ball, which they both do like different things on the oil pattern.
That's a lot. There's a lot that goes in this. See, this is the sort of thing. I don't know anything about bowling, and then we sit down and I leave here. I'm like, wow, there's a lot that goes into this bowling.
Yeah,
stuff.
no, there's a lot. But like once you start bowling and then you know how to pick up like your 10 and your 7, like just like little spare shots, then like you should be good.
All right. Well, that's all the time we have today. And I want to thank my new friend, Jessica, a.k.a. Jess. We got any other nicknames?
Softball team calls me Baby J, but that stays within the softball team.
All right. Well, now that the entire universe knows that you are known as Baby... Yeah, now that's on YouTube. So good luck. Good luck with that. All right, my friends. We'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.